Hi, welcome back to the Decision Sandbox. Today we are going to talk about my favorite lemonade stand, and uh, to it, the business owner provided inputs, updated a lot of them, and we fixed that. Also added a Monte Carlo simulation with 10,000 runs. We're going to look at the expected value, and we're going to talk about why the cumulative probability distribution is better. And you can do all this without special software for the Monte Carlo, just as kind of a trick in Excel that I'll go into in a different video, later video. But yeah, the cool thing is you can watch this Monte Carlo in real time. So let's get started. So just a quick review of where we were with this. Over here, in case you pull this file out of the shared folder, anything that has been updated, we've got chat and comments with the owner of Detroit Lemonade Co. And the, excuse me, those updates have been made here. Just a quick review. Put in tornado mode. We looked at which variables seem to affect it the most. We took these each of these uncertainties, these inputs, one at a time, and we bumped them to the low number and to the high number, the P10 and the P90. And then we looked at, we did that for all of them, and then we said, let's sort them by which ones tend to swing the output the most, and unit price, units per day, you know, those were the big ones on here. So, but now, and I should say also that oftentimes you don't need the Monte Carlo. This is frequently, it's enough to say, you know what, I got a handle on things. I know which way things are going. I know which things bounce the profit per day around the most, and so I don't need to worry. But let's take it another step. Let's say we got a Monte Carlo, and let's put it into Monte Carlo mode here. And again, I will talk about the switches and the way the logic is set up on the sheet in a different video. So we're going to put this into zero, so it's not deterministic, it's probabilistic. And looks like I've got some of these are still disabled. So let me say include all of these. So Control D for control down, make all of them yes. And we get a nice curve like this. Now, I should say I used to hate this cumulative probability distribution. I thought it's useless. What can you pull off of this? What I wanted to see, and I'm just going to go out to a research paper that I had here, and this has nothing to do with this problem, except that it's got a nice histogram and a cumulative probability distribution. So what I wanted to see, what I used to see with data that I would take, would be some sort of nice distribution like this, not really symmetrical, because it's got this long tail off to the right. And that's what I wanted to see. And so for quite a while, I would plot both this and that. Now it turns out this was kind of a crutch for me to remind me that everything was okay with the world. But once I got beyond that and I said, you know what, actually this is a beautiful thing, this cumulative curve, because check this out. You can say, what's the P50 value? You know, the value at which there's a 50% chance it could be higher or lower. You can't get that out of this curve, but the cumulative curve, this big dark single line, you can. You can say at 50%, there's your P50. What is it? In this case, it's 50 something. It happens to be, units of time, milliseconds or something here. Anyway, not critical what the unit is, but I'm talking more about the shape here and what's going on. You can say, well, what's the P10 of the output? Well, there's a 10% chance it will be lower than, I don't know, 12 here, 12 and a half. And then similarly at the P90, at what value is there just a 10% chance it'll be above that? So maybe that's 115 or whatever here. So anyway, that's just a brief aside, just to say, you know what, you got your histogram, but really what you want is this cumulative probability distribution curve. So let's go back, and we're in that mode now. And we can say, hey, check this out. We got P10. Well, what is it at 10%? We're going to hit maybe something around, 300, 400 per day. And similarly, P90, what do you get? And that's going to be, 3,200. And then in the middle, what is that P50? P50 is different than expected value. And that is going to be, something around. Well, it's going to be. Let's just let's see P50. Let me hover this. Click away a second. Hover again. 49, 51. Okay, somewhere in that range. Anyway, 1400. Very interesting. But because there's a right-handed tail on many of these variables, the expected value, the weighted probability, notice up here is 1700. So 14, 1500 versus 17. That's one thing you can get out of this. The other interesting, really fun piece, and you don't need any special software to do this, is I'll give you a little hint. I'm going to cover it in more detail later, but you use a data table and you let it run multiple. So each time we hit F9, notice it refreshes, it recalculates. And this is basically a data table set up to just randomly recalculate each time as you go through. But again, I will cover that in detail, how to do that in a later video. But let's say, so one of the interesting pieces of data I got from Matt, the owner of the stand, was his all-time record so far is 2,200 cups per day of selling lemonade. So, which is pretty impressive. that's the record. So let me just, that's there. And when I hit enter, it's going to refresh. So right now, the P90, P95 is, P94, I guess, is pretty high up here. But let's just say, what if that, that black swan, that unique day, that when everything, it was hot weather, people had money and good parking and everything. And let's just hit enter, and it's going to recalculate, and it's going to say, you know what, this curve could go up, up above 10 grand. So it's like, wow, hey, again, I think that's not really a P90. That's just a high value. The P90 might be something more like again, I'm guessing maybe just a 10% chance. It's more than that. So that brings us back into this part of the curve. But anyway, it's real. Another piece you can do with this, you can say, well, what if sales price is the only thing I care about? Is that value? How does that affect the output? And you're just going to say, we're going to put no into here, and going to say control down. It's going to wipe all those out and say yes, no. And it's very discrete. So it's got, your output. There's a 10% chance it's going to be at this level. 900, 928 or lower, 50-50 chance of being around this 1478, and you've got a 10% chance it's going to be 3100 or higher, if that's the only variable you care about. And you could isolate things. You say, well, what if I want to add the sales volume too, without all the other stuff going on in the Monte Carlo? And you say, well, we have 3 levels. Oh, now we got 9 levels, because 3 times 3 is 9. You get 9 different combinations of things that make the value either low or high. So very cool, fun to play with in real time. And Crystal Ball, I don't want to bag on Crystal Ball, because it's a very powerful software, but it's not what's needed for most people. And again, you can do all kinds of PERT beta distributions, triangle distributions. This one just does multi-level, but we'll get into that later when I update and give you a more detailed analysis, more detailed demonstration on this. But I just want to show you guys this for now. And again, really powerful. I'm going to put this file in the shared folder so you guys can pull it out. And yeah, hey, anyway, thanks for watching.